All right, we are back. We're talking to Rob in Florida. And yeah, there is an EMT law out there to protect paramedics because 14 EMSA workers had been attacked on the job just in the past year. And this was really to protect them against, supposedly, people who were assaulting them on the scene, either the people they were trying to help or others. It wasn't really intended for police officers, but of course it pertains to them. I mean, what's your take on that video? Obviously, you want people to call. Obviously, you were disgusted. But I mean, again, if the guy had been spineless and just put his hands behind his back, this woman would have been unattended to in the back of an ambulance after being wrongfully pulled over by an overzealous police officer that put his hands on an innocent man. Oh, all right. I guess we dropped Rob. So then we'll go to Brian, Patrick, Joe, and others. But first, let's play this Bilderberg clip. Frank McKenna is a Canadian politician, ambassador to the United States for some time. And lo and behold, he's a Bilderberger. You got the clip? Hit that clip, Jaron.
If he was sitting here today, people would say, what a nice guy. I didn't know he's such a nice guy.
Really?
You know,
running the country out of the United States, obviously a powerful nation. You just came back from meeting with the Bilderberg Group. The Bilderberg Group are, when people who are conspiracy theory people, they send me mail, it's usually about the Bilderberg Group. And I get these books on my front door, which I'm uncomfortable with. And it's all about the Bilderberg, like they're the modern day Illuminati. Are you a member of the Bilderberg Group?
I don't think we're supposed to talk about this. No, I'm just joking. The Bilderberg Group is just a think tank. And they get together every year, and it involves business leaders and political leaders from Europe and America. And you get really interesting people. There's never a direction given from the conference, never even a consensus. It's just a matter of debating issues and trying to illuminate the issues. So I find it very amusing to think there's a conspiracy theory, because there just isn't. People don't. I mean, would we be responsible for just how screwed up the world is today?
Maybe.
So I don't think much of that, but I do enjoy the conversations that go on.
Sure.
All right, bring it back.
Be around people who can affect change.
Because he does say something else there, but I want to bring it all the way back because I want you to see that again. First of all, he uses the terminology illuminate. He does look rather uncomfortable when he first gets asked about this, and he's like, "Oh, would we be the people that are behind the world being so screwed up today?" Yes, it's by design. You're trying to internally combust the United States, the great power, to bring in the North American Union. You're trying to divide and conquer in the Middle East to bring in the Eurasian Union to further your goals of a new world order. Of course you're behind it. I mean, you're not old school. You weren't around in the very beginning of the Bilderberg Group, but you're definitely a dog, a lackey, someone that they like to, really proselytize in other organizations for the New World Order. That's what you do. It is sort of a think tank, but it's bigger than a think tank. And to say that they don't set policy there is just like saying it's a golf club. See, that's where it goes. First, it was a golf club. They don't discuss policy. Now they do discuss policy, but they don't set it. And it's a think tank. They admit more and more and more as the years go by. But remember, we couldn't be responsible for how screwed up the world is. All right, play the clip again.
So if he was sitting here today, people would say, what a nice guy. I didn't know he's such a nice guy.
Really? Running the country out of the United States, obviously a powerful nation. You just came back from meeting with the Bilderberg Group. The Bilderberg Group are, when people who are conspiracy theory people, they send me mail, it's usually about the Bilderberg Group. And I get these books on my front door, which I'm uncomfortable with. And it's all about the Bilderberg, like they're the modern day Illuminati. Are you a member of the Bilderberg Group?
I don't think we're supposed to talk about this. No, I'm just joking. The Bilderberg Group is just a think tank. And they get together every year, and it involves business leaders and political leaders from Europe and America. And you get really interesting people. There's never a direction given from the conference, never even a consensus. It's just a matter of debating issues and trying to illuminate the issues. So I find it very amusing to think there's a conspiracy theory, because there just isn't. People don't. I mean, would we be responsible for just how screwed up the world is today?
Maybe.
So I don't think much of that, but I do enjoy the conversations that go on.
Sure, I can imagine it's nice to just be around people who can affect change in their own individual way.
Well, and these are, you get to know these people are just very interesting people. Queen Beatrix goes and Queen Isabella go, very, very wonderful people. Henry Kissinger, David Rockefeller go, various...
you didn't call Kissinger a wonderful person? Is that on purpose? No, you don't.
So you're just surrounded by interesting people.
You've been on the record quite a bit.
All right, there it is right there. See, you're just surrounded by interesting people, huh? Just royalty goes and Henry Kissinger and David Rockefeller. See, why do we harp on Kissinger and Rockefeller so much? Because Rockefeller really does pull a lot of strings and set a lot of policy. And talk about Mr. Think Tank himself, Kissinger, the Kissinger Group. I mean, he is a walking, talking think tank for the New World Order, a walking, talking policymaker. He's a guy behind the scenes of the last, 4 or 5 administrations? 5, 6, 7, 8? I can't even tell you. Ever since the 70s, this guy has reared his ugly head in both the foreground and the background. Remember, they tried to get Kissinger to be the head of the 9/11 Commission, and people were up in arms. And then it came out later, oh yeah, he was advising the Bush administration on their war policy. Oh, don't talk about it. And then we know that Kissinger, on behalf of the Obama administration, who he's clearly behind, calling for a new world order, and Obama can bring it in. We played that clip yesterday. I mean, the guy's always calling for a new world order. But he, during the Obama administration, where does he go? He goes over to Russia to talk to Medved and others, or Medved. I mean, Kissinger is a player. The Bilderberg Group are the main players, 100 to 144 of the most influential people around the world each year. They are getting ready to disperse more of their agenda this July when the Bohemian Grove kicks off and there's 3,000 elites around. All right, I've babbled enough. We're going to take some calls. Who are we on? Brian in New York. Brian, you're on the line.
Hi, Jason.
How are you?
You're doing a great job, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I've been holding for a while. I have a story I'd like to tell you, but just to comment on what you said with the Bilderbergs. Mm-hmm. You said 144 to... What?
Well, 100 to 144. Usually they put out a list of between 100 and 120, but then, of course, when Obama and Hillary went, they weren't on the list. There's speculation that John Kerry was there this year. He wasn't on the list. There are those times when they do leave people off the main list, and it's very rare occasion when they actually publish their own list. I think we had to wait for Wayne Madsen and others to come out with the list from this year's Bilderberg Group. But the year before, when it was held in America, the American Friends of Bilderberg printed the public list, without, of course, Hillary and Obama. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, and there's probably their groupies, wannabes hanging around, too, the whole time, trying to get in on the action. Like Trudeau was saying that there was a lot of... There's a lot going on around the Bilderberg at the time, that
Trudeau interview was extremely interesting. If you want to hold over, Brian, I'll hold you over for your story. But right now we have Alex on the line. Alex, how are you, sir?
Hey, bro. Yeah, well, I've been holding the last 5 minutes. I was
just saw it. Sorry.
Clip, so I want to get into that first and the new developments with this police officer attacking the paramedic story. We need to make sure we can get all these news reporters and eyewitnesses on. If you go up to Infowars.com and click through to the YouTube page itself, you can see now that the news crews have gone to eyewitnesses saying that the paramedics did not attack the police first. And the police keep saying, well, we think it's on our video cameras in our squad cars, but we're not releasing it right now. Kind of like the police said when they killed that guy at the subway station in Oakland. They said, oh, he was attacking us, and we defended ourselves and shot him. And then they grabbed all the video cameras that people were taping it with, all the camera phones, and said that the cameras all malfunctioned at the facility, showing the higher-ups are part of this lying, but somebody had been going by in a train beside them and had the train had stopped, and they videotaped the whole scene. He was sitting there submitting like a slave to the New World Order like we all do. He was put down, put in the handcuffs, executed, and then as his life was leaving his body, beat up by the cop for vampiric pleasure purposes. And that's literally what it is. It's about a cult of power tripping. We now know what happens. This ambulance had slow cars in front of it that wouldn't get out of the way. the cops were going chasing some speeder or something. They're saying they went to something and handled it real quick. It wasn't a big deal. They drove up on the hind end of the guy. He couldn't go around. He couldn't ram the cars in front of him, because cars stack up. This is what the news is reporting. And so they then went to quote whatever the call was, and then went and chased the ambulance down at high speeds, catching up with it.